Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Casey's Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm all set to count down the 40 biggest hits on the pop chart. Our rankings come from the official survey of radio stations from coast to coast. The survey is conducted by Radio and Records, the industry's #1 newspaper. Well, we have 2 debuts this week, including the latest hit for the British duo Erasure. Let the countdown begin.
Number 40.
The first of our 2 debuts is by a Canadian band that goes by the name Barenaked Ladies. But the members of the group aren't ladies at all. They're men, and they're fully clothed. Their song is called The Old Apartment.
Casey's Top 40.
From Hollywood, this is Casey Kasem. And climbing a notch to number 39 on Casey's Top 40 is the Canadian group Barenaked Ladies. Back in 1991, they were banned in Toronto because councilmen thought their name was politically incorrect. But 2 years later, they became stars all across Canada when they won the Canadian Juno Award for Group of the Year. Now, here's their first hit in the USA.
The hits from coast to coast.
Radio stations play them, Radio and Records ranks them, and we count them down on American Top 20. I'm Steve Streit, sitting in for Casey Kasem. Slipping 2 notches to number 4 is Barenaked Ladies with a song co-written by Ed Robertson and Stephen Page. When the other band members, Tyler Stewart and Jim Cregan, first heard the song, Tyler says, quote, "We thought it was great, just hilarious. We loved it right off the bat," unquote. Here's the infectious 1 week.
It's been America's Top Hits.
1 year ago this week, one of the top hits in the USA was by Barenaked Ladies, a band that was going nowhere. And then they were adopted by a fellow Canadian from Beverly Hills 90210. Barenaked Ladies first got together back in 1988, and for most of the decade, they lived their lives on the musical fringe. Then they started noticing a recognizable face at many of their shows. It was fellow Canadian Jason Priestley, one of the stars of Beverly Hills 90210. He loved their music. Eventually, he sent a note to their management asking if it were okay for him to go backstage to meet the band. Was it ever? The band and the actor became good friends. So good that Jason Priestley directed the video for their song, The Old Apartment. He also helped them get a spot on Beverly Hills 90210 as the band in a club scene. The very next week, sales of their live CD, Rock Spectacle, doubled, and the band was on its way. 1 year ago this week, they had one of the top hits in the USA. Here's Barenaked Ladies with It's All Been Done. Radio stations play them, Radio and Records ranks them, and we count them down. And we're up to the latest from Barenaked Ladies, a song called Pinch Me. Lead singer Stephen Page says the song is about, quote, a bored guy. He's by himself in this world. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can dream about big ambitions, but he's just living his life sleepwalking, unquote.
American Top 40.
Now, 2 years ago, a hospital literally saved the life of a member of the band Barenaked Ladies. These days, Barenaked Ladies does everything it can to help that hospital. It was back in 1998 that Barenaked Ladies keyboard player Kevin Hearn was diagnosed with leukemia. The prognosis wasn't good. The greatest hope was for a stem cell transplant that just might save his life. The transplant was done at the Princess Margaret Hospital in Toronto. And for a long time, Kevin's condition was touch and go. But after a brave fight, he made it. His cancer was brought under control. The whole band was grateful for what the hospital had done, and since then, Barenaked Ladies have become what might be described as the official band of the Princess Margaret Hospital. To help them out during a recent fundraiser, the band donated concert tickets, costumes, props from their videos, posters and CDs. Everything they could send, they sent to the hospital to help them out. As Kevin Hearn says, these are the real heroes in life. The work of the hospital has been life-saving. This is our way of giving something back. This week on AT40, Barenaked Ladies have this week's 4th highest debut. At number 36, here's Too Little, Too Late.
American Top 20.
6 years ago this week, back in 1999, this was one of the hottest songs. It's by a band who are famous for changing the lyrics of their songs from show to show. In fact, there's a website dedicated to the many different lyrics they use.
American Top 20.
Now we're up to an American Top 20 Extra by Barenaked Ladies, a band whose two leaders spent years hating each other. Singer Stephen Page and guitarist Ed Robertson first met when they were both attending the Churchill Heights Public School in Toronto, Canada. Stephen says, quote, "I had a best friend back then, and Ed stole him away from me. He became Ed's best friend. Because of that, we were enemies for years." Then, in their teens, the boys ran into each other at a Peter Gabriel concert. After all those years of animosity, they discovered they had something in common. They both loved music. They started talking. They both signed on as counselors at a summer music camp, and it was at that camp that Barenaked Ladies was formed. Now, with an extra, here are these two former enemies with a hit from 1998, "One Week."
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cocked your head to the side and said I'm angry.
Hold it now and watch a hoodwink. Does it make you stop think? You'll think you're looking at Aquaman. I summon fish to the dish, although I like the chalet Swiss. I like the sushi cause it's never touched a frying pan. Hot like wasabi when I bust rhymes. Big like Leanne rhymes because I'm all about value. Bert Camper's got the mad hits. You try to match wits. You try to hold me but I bust through.
Casey counts them down.